Ladies and gentlemen, coming in to the podcast ring at 233 pounds from Glasgow, Scotland. Put your hands together for the one, the only WWE legend, Rowdy Roddy Piper.
I'm late. I love you, Inappropriate Earl.
And I forgot to mention star of stage and screen, John Carpenter's They Live.
Ow! Man, I'm late. You guys been talking about me?
Oh, I never want to hear I'm late. From a woman.
I got the Inappropriate Earl. Thank you for covering for me.
Well, don't say that like that.
Well, I've been rolling hard. Since I saw you, I've been to, I was there, and...
yeah, I know where that is.
Yeah, Nashville.
The tattoo...
Yes, yeah, and I don't have... Do you have tattoos?
No, I'm not really a fan of tattoos.
No, me neither. Why do people... There's one guy, I was in the sauna.
I bet.
Yay, inappropriate. I was in the sauna, and there was this guy, he had... His whole body was tattooed like the devil, and he had just 2 pieces of hair that he must put product on, and they like little horns. They stood up. Have you seen this guy?
I know this guy.
You've seen him.
He's got 2 pit bulls
That's him.
Walks around with.
And so I come in the sauna, and there he is with the little, the guy.
You better edit that out.
No, I found hell. I guess, it's a little warm here, too. Don't want to go any deeper. Anyway.
Too late.
Yeah, I've been dealing with Satan my whole life. Bring it on.
Vince McMahon?
I'm supposed to stop saying baby Jesus and holy cow. And I've been getting a lot of flack from my wife. Yeah, see, everybody goes quiet there, right? Because, why I say it, it's like, I was brought up in a locker room, and a guy starts to just use, what's the word?
Expressions.
Expletives?
Expressions. I don't know what expletives means.
Well, like nasty words just for the heck of it. Expletives. Oh. Thank you, God. They now have they have the censor board over on the other side for me now.
Who taught you English? Slick?
No, Gary Hart.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember Gary Hart?
I'm a huge fan of his.
Yeah. Do you remember the guy Kabuki?
The great Kabuki.
Yeah. He was great, and Gary. I love him, boy. He's slippery. He's slippery as they can get. The second time I got blackballed, I was in Atlanta, and they blackballed me through the world, except for Gary Hart. And Gary Hart's in Texas, and he says, now, Rod, now only for you, I can pay you $1,500 a week. About that time, I was getting around $7,000 a match.
Right.
I said, Gary, sounds like fun, but I think I'm going to go to Santo Domingo.
Right.
More riots, more money. I did a thing with Gary Hart and Kabuki on TBS with Gordon Soley, and Kabuki used to blow that green stuff. Yeah. And Kabuki was great. I had a lot of great matches with him. I think that, Gary always would say this. He says, I like to draw when it's hard. Anybody can draw when it's easy. I like when the blizzards are going. I like to... So, he's a pro from that perspective. Boy, I haven't thought about him for a long time.
Well, they don't have guys like him now. They have the valets, the bikini girls, and they don't really have great managers.
Nah, he was a great manager. And on television, he was articulate. Another big word for Rod.
What's that, man?
He said a lot of things very well. And
that jive voice, though,
Yeah. Can you do a jive, Gary Hart?
My brothers, you got a one-man gang. Who eventually morphed into Hakeem, who was another jive-talking.
When I wonder what Hakeem was thinking of when they put the little Kiwanis hat on him.
Well, he was. There's this great match he had with Big John Studd where Big John Studd seemed to be about 4 inches taller than him, and they do the hand strength thing, and so John Studd puts his hands up first, and then Hakeem does, and it was a pretty funny visual because his hands couldn't reach John Studd's, and he does this jive-talking moonwalk way where he backs out of it, and it was just,
hey, great.
This guy
great
can't
stuff,
moonwalk.
Right? He can't moonwalk. I just saw on something where they're talking about Michael Jackson.
Uh-oh.
And that what he invented. Did you see that? He used to do that thing where he leaned forward almost to the point of, defying gravity. And he invented in the heels of his shoes. At some point, he hooked in, and they had for lack of a better word, the head of a nail that would lock in on the heels. And that's what let him come down so far and come back.
See, I had heard that what they had in front of him was a 12-year-old boy.
Oh, jeez.
And they said,
how I stay on the air, I do not know.
But you're bringing up Michael Jackson. I mean,
okay, so let's go back to Michael. How did you like Michael as a singer? Were you?
And probably the most talented performer ever.
He was pretty good, man.
But I just can't get past the.
No.
Salacious I don't care how, I can't.
I don't care who you are.
If this was a truck driver and you said, hey, this guy's playing video games with kids in his underwear, I'd be like, this guy's sick.
What's the guy in that, oh, shoot. I'm not a, quick story, and we'll get to it. I'm not a football fan, but one time, it was a Sunday, and Morocco and Norton, we had 2 rooms. And the door, that exchanged from room to room. And Don Morocco, the Magnificent, who I hung with a lot, great, Prince of Darkness, great guy. And Bobby Orton, ace, who's triple tough. And they're over there and they're watching the game, and I'm not from this country. I don't know nothing about it. And I was in my bathroom, I don't know if I was shaving or what, and I was listening, and there was college games, I think. And all of a sudden, touchdown, Baylor. And, doesn't mean nothing to me, Mom. And all of a sudden, there was interception, Baylor. And, it was pretty cool. And I came back, I come in the room, and I swear to you, I said, that Baylor's a hell of a player, huh? They both looked at me. Get the fuck out of here now. Yeah. Okay. I didn't know it was the team.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So back to what's the guy we're talking, Michael Jackson? What's the guy in the shower?
Sandusky.
Sandusky?
30 years on that campus, running around, literally with, kids in the shower and the practice field and the weight room.
How does he do 30 years and nobody find out?
Well, listen, if you saw Paterno's glasses, you knew he had a bad subscription, but how bad could the prescription be?
Not everybody wore glasses. That's a tough one for me, having 3-4 kids.
Yeah, I'm trying not to lose you viewers, but,
I think everybody would agree with me that our children are our most precious resource. That's why I'm doing this bully campaign, Stand for the Silent, we'll talk about later. But, I don't know, I just, the way I was raised and stuff, you do a lot of harm. You do a lot of harm to somebody when that happens. And it's a lifer.
Oh, yeah.
And it's an innocent little angel. And then the guy still is denying it.
Well, they all do.
Yeah.
Sandusky.
Everybody's in jail is innocent, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, there are, some, but, with Michael Jackson, it's like, all right, if it's just one kid saying it, it's like with Bill Cosby. If it's one girl saying,
yeah,
but 40, it's like, all right, they all can't be lying. How did he have time to film anything?
Bill Cosby, I liked him a lot because I had heard that Bill Cosby called Eddie Murphy and said, you got to stop using bad language. We're trying to represent, because Bill Cosby is a good representative of not only for his race, but as a man, and broke a lot of barriers. He had, what was that, Mission Impossible?
I Spy.
I Spy, yeah. So, breaking that barrier back then, I give him a lot of credit. Kind of like Jackie Robinson. Was that the first black baseball player?
First black baseball player to cross over.
And this thing, I watched something on him where what he had to take, and the coaches and even his team players, he said, you got to stand up and you just take it, so other people can make it. What a hell of a man Jackie Robinson was.
Oh, I think, I just read a book called Black Ice, which is about Val James, who was the first U.S.-born black player to play in the National Hockey League.
They have a black player playing hockey?
There's 70 now, but they all have white names, so nobody's noticed. They have names like Donald Brashear, Anson Carter. I mean, wait till
Randy White.
Yeah, basically, Fred.
Fred.
I mean, wait.
Do you mean Hakeem can't play hockey?
Well,
Kamala.
Well, Kamala's going to have to play in a midget league.
I'm throwing you softballs here, buddy.
Well, I mean, you're going to have to put him in the 6 feet and under league.
Well, you know what? I had Kamala on a podcast that we did earlier in the year. Yeah, the tummies were bad, and he was so sweet and so kind on the podcast. He just for all the stuff he's going through. And we played his record. Maybe I just caught him on a good day. I don't know.
No, I mean, if you go on YouTube and, it's just putting in Kamala, he does a couple interviews where he's shown with no legs, and he doesn't seem to be that bitter.
He's going, I'm grateful for every day. And
Mr. McMahon, you better think what you're doing. And, I don't know what tink is, but I'll think.
He's a good man. I loved Kamala. He didn't, in the dressing room, he was completely respectful all the time. I've never seen him get out of line. I don't know. I just like the guy.
He told a great story about wrestling Andre the Giant, where it kind of got real for a second in the ring. They started hitting each other for real, and he said in the locker room he pulled a gun on Andre.
Yeah.
And said, hey man.
Hey, dude.
And then every match after that, he had a gun. Now, I want to ask you about the safety of this. He literally had a secret pocket in his shorts with a gun in it. But he showed the pocket. He showed.
Yeah.
And it's like, how safe was that?
Well, I tell you why. I tell you why he did that. Is the ring is the only place I know that you can kill a man and go have lunch.
Yeah.
People don't think of it like that. We just had a kid die.
Mexico.
Yeah, tragic. They were doing something. I think they drop-kicked him or something. And
it was Rey Mysterio. I think he got kicked in the trachea.
Is that what it was?
And the really frightening thing is they show him after he got hit, he's kind of...
on the second rope.
And who's helping him but Conan? Now, if I'm dying or need mouth-to-mouth...
who's the last person?
Probably Conan. I'd rather have Magic Johnson kissing me. Or getting me
Dennis Rodman.
Anything.
One time, we're Dennis Rodman, we're in the shoot, and we're in the shoot. It's a WCW, and we're about to come out. And Hogan's... there's about 3 people ahead of me. And Rodman's behind me, and Hogan's behind Rodman. And I get the Iggy from Hogan. He goes, because nobody's supposed to touch Rodman. And I'll just tell it to you this way. What Hogan said to me in Kearney was, I'm going to throw his ass out to you. You get him. We'll make the paper. I'm in. So here we are. It wasn't a Royal Rumble, but we all left at certain times for some reason. I can't remember what the match was. Everybody's in the ring. So finally, I come and I'm outside the ring and I'm giving Hogan a high sign, and boom, he throws Rodman out, right? And boom, I'm there. Wah! I come and I got a cop on both arms. That Rodman, he took 2 side steps, one the length of the ring and another one, and I stopped and I told those policemen, you can let me go now because that man is in no danger at all.
Right.
You don't know, you don't realize that I think he's the best rebounder. You don't realize what these guys can do. When I was in Wrigley Stadium, throwing out the first pitch. I actually, the first one, give me the ball back. I want to try it again. And I left it in its plastic, and boom. And then I wanted to try. I just said, throw one down. Throw one. You did? Holy cow, 100 miles an hour. I don't know how they hit that.
Oh, it's
unbelievable.
I mean, when I was in high school, Jack McDowell was in my high school, and he ended up winning a few Cy Youngs. And to see someone that age throwing fastballs 95, I was like, how do you hit that?
Holy cow. And they say that the batters, they can see the stitches in the ball as it's coming to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's so steroids. There's a big thing in baseball about the guys who have done that, and it's like they don't help your hand-eye coordination.
Not a bit. So I've heard.
Well, I mean, I don't mind guys doing steroids in baseball. Everyone cheats in baseball. I mean, what's true? I mean, Gaylord Perry used spitballs every game. Corked bats.
Wasn't there something under the hat with that Vaseline?
Vaseline.
Yeah, that was a...
Well, that gets us into the WWE.
Doggone it, I didn't think I thought you'd miss that one. Inappropriate oral is about to go into the WWE from Vaseline.
In terms of, that's a whole nother story. I mean, I was going to talk about the Hall of Fame. You want to talk...
Oh, no, go. Let's talk about the Hall of Fame.
You want to talk about behind the show shenanigans.
No, I don't. I'm in so much trouble.
Yeah, but this is what people want to hear.
Is it really?
Yeah, we love hearing about your match, with...
You could give a shit.
No, not necessarily, but, I want to hear about the Vaseline used in the hotel room. Forget the ring.
Holy cow. You're talking about drug testing. What?
I'm holding your Hall of Fame ring right now.
Yes, sir.
It's pretty impressive. I mean, that is a...
well, thank you.
That's a real... I mean, not many men have this. Well, actually, they're starting to let in quite a few guys now. What are the qualifications? Well, no, I mean, in your case, I could go, okay, he's a legend. 41 years in the business, multiple titles, multiple organizations. But then, when I see the Bushwhackers getting let in,
I love them too.
No, I'm sure they're great guys.
No, I understand. What are the qualifications to get in the Hall of Fame? Like 1 year they put, what's that guy that does Come On Down? Drew Carey?
Drew Carey, yeah.
Drew Carey. So they put Drew Carey in the Hall of Fame. He comes out, everybody boos him. He says, I don't care. He says, I lost a bunch of weight and I'm rich. Why are you in the Hall of Fame?
He looks like Tom Hanks at the end of Philadelphia.
Ladies and gentlemen, inappropriate Earl.
I think we just lost 12 viewers in San Francisco.
If you go then steroids in baseball, don't they test for steroids in baseball? Do they test the guys?
Well, they do now. I think because Barry Bonds, when he came into the league with Pittsburgh, he looked like Roger from What's Happening, and then he ended up looking like Bad News Brown, where literally his head got big.
That's quite a range there.
But if you look at Barry Bonds, if you Google, YouTube, whatever you kids say now, I'm not really down with what you kids do these days. He's got to be 170 pounds, 180 tops, and then when he was breaking Hank Aaron's record, he was literally the size of like Randy Orton, with a bigger head.
When WWF, they instituted drug testing.
No. Did Vince pass?
I don't know who everybody had to do what, but there's one I got to share with you. It's pretty cool. And I got to credit where credit's due is if they're trying. My business has got big black clouds, but if they're drug testing, at least they're trying to save lives, I guess. Anyway, that has nothing to do with it. This guy comes in. I'm not going to say his name. We'll call him Joe. Okay? And he walks in the arena, and all of a sudden there's a big sign taped up there, test before you go straight to the testing room and test. So obviously this guy was dirty, and one of the people that could have made a ton of money was Virgil. Virgil didn't do anything. And people could play. They didn't, but they'd come and ask him all the time, pee for me, pee for me, pee for me. Well, then after a while, they caught on to that. And they came out with, who they are, I'm not sure. I think it was called the Wizonator. And it was a penis that you put urine in it, and it kept it to body temperature. So because they try to watch, which I had a problem. I ended up banging his head against the door, but that's another story. So this fella, he was dirty, and he couldn't figure out, and he's trying to pass the test, and so he went. And one of the guys had a Wizonator. Boom. He goes in the can. He pulls it out. He's peeing. The guy that's watching, he got the Wizonator from a black guy.
Oh,
it was black. The guy that come in to look, he looks down, and there's a black penis coming out of this white kid. You're busted.
Wait.
True story. And if I told you the guy, you'd know him.
Pat Patterson?
No, I don't think he's a druggie. No, this guy. Anyway, that went around big time.
Well, I think you could tell who's...
Well, if you're white and you got a black penis.
Well, I've been there.
You've been there.
I showed my dick pic to a black guy at the Comedy Store the other night. He's like, my man, you're one of us.
I think that the drug test, do they drug test in baseball?
Well, for certain, they do. I think they test for growth hormone, and ever since Mark McGwire, same thing. He was
growth hormone, pretty
not skinny, but he wasn't the biggest guy, and then literally he grew up to be Lou Ferrigno. Every season he was. I sat next to him once at a restaurant, and I swear to God, I've been known to exaggerate, but his back looked like there were two 2x4s in a V formation. I've never seen a back like this. It was like,
we got to go to break right now, but we got a chance to listen to Inappropriate Earl about Sting. So when we come back, we miss Macho Man. We'll hit Macho Man and maybe take a call. And we're back. Inappropriate Earl. Julian is going to go to villain school someday.
You better.
Better.
He's got the personality of kimchi.
He's reserved. He's
reserved. I've never heard him talk.
Oh, he can't. He just pats his belly like, come on. We were talking about drug testing and trying to, save lives. And, with professional athletes, we can get back to that. But I got a guy on the phone. I'm doing a piece for, it's called Stand for the Silent. And today is the 5-year anniversary of this 11-year-old kid named Ty Smalley. 11-year-old kid was bullied so bad that he figured out a way to take his own life and shot himself. As a dad of 4, that's not. I don't know how to even take that. I don't know. I'm standing up for them, and it's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to do something about it. So one of the gentlemen that put together a PSA that's going all around the world right now, his name is Adam Opitz with the agency. Adam, are you there?
I'm here. How you doing today, Roddy?
I'm doing good. Thanks for giving us a little time. I wanted them to know, if you haven't seen it, you can go to RowdyRoddyPiper.com. You can go to standforthesilent.org, which is the proper place. There's a 30-second and a 1-minute PSA that Adam put together with his company, the agency. Everybody put in their time. There's about 14 kids there, great-looking kids, did a great PSA, and I wanted to get a chance because later on today I'm going on Nikki Sixx to talk about it. Just give me a rundown, Adam, of what you're thinking.
Well, Roddy, thanks so much for all the work with Stand for the Silent, and I can't take all the credit. You played a huge part in this. Myself and Sean Laska, my partner with the agency advertising group, we put this together. We had the PSAs directed by Anthony Ruvivar, who's well known from TV shows like Banshee, Southland, and Third Watch. And, you brought this to my attention last year when we were talking about bullying, and we got you involved with this organization, Stand for the Silent. And like you said, the organization was founded when Ty's parents, Kirk and Laura Smalley, they decided to do something in the wake of, Ty's tragic suicide, and they started this organization, and today marks the 5-year anniversary of Ty's death, as we said. But yeah, I really can't thank you enough for, plugging the website and encouraging people to go. Go to standforthesilent.org and please take action and get involved.
We were talking, I'm just talking freely right now because if someone says, you want to fight, okay, now. And you want to open a can of soup, let's do it now. And it's one thing to talk about it, it's another thing to do it. I see a lot of PSAs. The WWE, I think it's called Be a Star. I commend them for trying to help with these organizations. And the thing is bring awareness to it. But, that's not enough. Bringing awareness is that we could be your kid. And Earl here, we call him Inappropriate Earl. But you were just talking about being bullied in school. I never heard before.
Yeah, I was, I have a big head, and I'm not trying to be funny. It's just I'm an oddly shaped man, and the kids in grade school would call me Elephant Man. And
call you Elephant Man?
Because the head, and it made me cry almost every day, and I didn't want to go to school. And
really?
Yeah, it was just...
Did you ever think of that extreme as it's getting?
I don't know if I ever thought of killing myself, but I was like, wow, I don't know how much longer I can take this. Kids can be so mean, and it's
yeah. And one of the things, like, where's the dads? And I'm no diss on Kurt because Kirk started this foundation, but I think that you got to talk to your kid. I think you got to be a little more aware. One, and the other one is the bullies. A lot of people think, well, let's go beat up the bully, and that couldn't be more wrong. The guy's a bully because someone's hurting him. So it's without getting too much into that part, I'll do that later. But it's time to do something about it. And Adam, you just told me there was somebody yesterday. Was it?
Yeah, we're in the process right now of issuing a press release, and making a statement. Very, very tragically. Just last week, there was a 12-year-old girl by the name of Amber Rose Caudell in Everett, Washington, and same thing. She was relentlessly bullied at school and online, and tragically, she took her life last week on Thursday. And, the numbers are staggering. We just found there's another girl, Nicole Morgan, also 12 years old. She killed herself on April 3rd, 2015. She's from Pleasant Hill, Iowa. It's just really, really tragic, and this is all bully-related deaths. I'm quoting you on this, based on, our discussions, as you know. I mean, in the past 7 years, over 55,000 children have taken their own lives because they were bullied. I mean, it averages 22 suicides a day. It's almost one per hour. It's insane.
We're going to lose 22 kids today. So, in any case, thank you, Adam, for coming on. Thank you for all the hard work you've done.
Thank you.
I think the difference with us that we're going to do is I don't have a problem getting the mud, the blood, and the beer and go finding out what's happening. And I don't mind talking about it, but I'm going to do something about it. Adam Opitz, ladies and gentlemen, from the agency.
Thanks so much, Roddy.
Yeah, you're welcome. I'll see you later, bud.
Visit standforthesilent.org and do whatever you can to get involved. Roddy, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, Adam Opitz from the agency. So, like I was bullied terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow. Over... I don't know. So one of the other guys you loved was, oh yeah,
you dig it?
Snap into a Slim Jim. Ooh, I was in
the Macho Man
the
for
Macho
you
Man.
Younger fans who just think that Roman Reigns is,
Thank you. I saw a story. It's late. We're in a restaurant, and I'm standing outside the restaurant at the hotel because there's got a lot of guys in there, and I just don't want to go in. A lone wolf kind of guy. And of all guys, behind me come up Vince McMahon says, come on, Hot Rod. And I sit down at Vince's table, and they're, Hogan, whoever's all there. And I've always had an establishment thing in me. I don't know why. It's one of my major malfunctions. And so I went to get up to leave, and I threw down some cash for the meal. Had sweatpants on. So Vince goes, tugs me by the sweat. Nah, sit down. And so because the sweatpants came down a little, I pulled them down to my knees. I said, "Are you happy now?" Boom. I was drunk. Boom. And I left. So the next day we're doing TV, and I come in about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's Randy. And he hasn't slept all night. And he comes up to me, and his face is red. He goes, "Ooh," he says, "were you drinking last night?" Yeah. Why, are you keeping tabs? "Oh," he says, "do you remember what you did?" Do I remember what I fucking did? Excuse me. Do I remember what I did? I drank, ooh, do you remember pulling your pants down? No, but if you tell anybody, well, Randy had Miss Elizabeth in the restaurant, which I didn't see, and he didn't all night, and now I'm catching on, and it was, whoa, I said, "Whoa, Randy, as soon as you bring her into the business, she's going to have to roll with the punches too." So he wanted her to be cotton-balled, which I understand. Elizabeth, she was a nice lady. I remember the very first time that Elizabeth came into a building, and Randy, boom, he comes fast. He's got her hand, and he comes fast through a hallway, and they got a room for Miss Elizabeth. He takes her, he puts her in the room, closes the door, and locks it from the outside.
Well, I've done that with girls, too.
Well, I haven't. And I just thought it was really interesting because if you're going to, and I loved Randy, man. I love the guy. I don't know if you know anything about, do you know anything about his early life?
He was quite an athlete. I think a great baseball player.
Yep. Great baseball player, bodybuilder. Almost, he was hard. He was anything he wanted to do, he was good at. But he would ride in the back of the ring truck, and all the others. His father was called the Miser. He was a wrestler, called the Miser, and they would make the rest of the boys. They put the ring up, and they get in the back of the ring truck, and then they get him from town to town. When they would stop to eat, Randy, they'd let all the guys in, and then Randy would come in, and you wouldn't really know what he was doing. And when someone was finished eating, he'd sit down there, whatever fries they didn't have, whatever, boom, Randy would eat them. And he would go around to all, and then he got a meal without having to pay any money. And, he came up hard. He had the money to have a meal, but wanted to save every nickel. And one day when he's with Elizabeth, he comes back to his place, and the place is just cleaned out. Everything's gone, the art, everything's gone. Elizabeth went down and shacked up with a Mercedes-Benz dealership. Whoa, yeah.
That must have been right before Lex Luger.
I don't know much about, I know the ending. I don't know much about Lex and Elizabeth. But that's why we have a rule, or I had one, no family. No family near the business at all.
Well, yeah, I don't think you'd want your family. Anyone, like your kid or your girlfriend or your wife, like...
Yeah.
The Warrior, in all seriousness, had a great, one of those YouTube videos where he interviews himself, and I've never seen a man with that capability. And he was talking about Macho Man and Elizabeth, and he said, "I would never take my wife backstage where you've got half-naked guys, the most sexual, deviant people on earth. I would not want my wife or girlfriend back there." So
a bunch of guys, Earthquake, Coco Beware,
Rick Rude, oiling up as anyone, Paul Bearer walking around with his shirt off, The Undertaker, Kurt Angle,
Paul Bearer with his shirt off.
I mean,
and a urine.
Yeah, and the urn and
urn. Thank you.
Urine. I'm sure there was urine backstage. His urine too. Pat Patterson running around.
Tidy whities.
Yeah, the Road Warriors looking for their private bag and Warrior.
Yeah, it was nuts.
It was literally nuts.
It was. It was literally, it was double nuts.
Well, but
you know what? And there were some. Go ahead.
No, please. It's your podcast.
Yeah, but you're my inappropriate guy. I love you.
Well, it brings up kind of full circle the WWE Hall of Fame, where Macho Man was recently inducted, and I think it's always a curiosity factor as to who inducts them. Like I know with Medusa, I think Natalia Hart, Neidhart.
She's a great gal.
She brought her in, and it was a great, this woman I look up to, and it was like, oh, okay, that's nice. I think Linda McMahon brought in Warrior, which I thought was an interesting choice. And in Macho Man's case,
it was an interesting choice.
Terry Bollea.
Holy cow!
And it's like they hated each other. I thought personally, in my opinion, being a wrestling mark, if you get the business, that Stephanie McMahon should have brought him in. She did originally.
From your lips to God's ears. I think that would have been appropriate. I think also Linda McMahon, I guess that the Warrior communicated better with Linda than he did, on some extent, than he did with Vince. But I know when the Warrior came back, Hogan told me, he says, Hey, brother, I don't do good impressions.
I do. Hey, brother.
There you go. He says he was walking down the hall, and the amount of Warrior merchandise they already had made up when he was doing the Hall of Fame, and he said it was twice mine. I think that's what made Hogan mad.
That doesn't sound like him.
And so, you know what? I love Hogan, kind of. And the point was that there were Warrior and Hogan, Warrior and McMahon were back there, hugging, how you doing? This whole thing had been blown over. I think Vince should have inducted them.
Yeah. Macho Man or Warrior? Or both? Who inducted you?
Ric Flair. I just got to think about it for a second. I think he should have inducted the Warrior, Vince.
Oh, I agree.
And an interest, and I guess that, what's his wife's name? I'm sorry.
Linda
McMahon, who's a nice lady. It's smart business, but it gives you an idea of what it's really like behind that curtain. When they induct Arnold Schwarzenegger into the Hall of Fame, and then they put Kevin Nash on last. And nothing against Nash and those guys. They got their clique going and stuff like that, but kind of, Arnold's hard to beat.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a comedy show. You want, the biggest name to go on, not necessarily last, but, you don't want to put,
it's a climax.
Russell Peters on and then me. People be like, who the hell's this guy?
But you do great. The Bushwhackers, I love them. I was the first one to get licked by them.
I bet.
When they were the sheep herders. And I was watching them, and Luke, or Butch rather, he had the arms going up and down, and Luke for 2 years didn't have a hip. And he finally just got that hip in there, and Luke was on them crutches, you almighty! And he was giving it everything, and he was sweating, and I was just watching him going. I had such great times with them. And then they called my name. I started slinking in the seat, because I didn't know what them. And then I thought, stand up to the plate. So I bushwhacked my way up there and kissed his hand, and then he said, Ted DiBiase. So Ted does the same thing, and then Bret Hart. Bret Hart says his shoulders are killing him, but it was it was a cool moment, I think, at the Hall of Fame. It was a cool moment.
But that's like, when you in the NHL Hall of Fame, NBA Hall of Fame, they don't really put in like guys like the Bushwhackers. It's like pretty much the best of the best.
Yeah.
So
what are the qualifications for the Hall of Fame?
Well, I think now if you're 50 and alive, you just get in.
It's like your Social Security.
Yeah, it's like, well, I guess Coco Beware lives in Georgia. You can make the trip. Put him in. I mean, how the hell is Coco Beware ahead of Rick Rude?
Is Rick Rude in the Hall of Fame?
No.
You know somebody else? Ivan Koloff.
Yeah.
Ivan Koloff. He was the world's champion. He was there way back when he took it from Bruno Sammartino. He's known all over the world. They're missing Cyndi Lauper. She should be in the Hall of Fame.
Well, ahead of the Bushwhackers, certainly.
Yeah.
Why not put Pete Hernandez in while you're at it? Frankie Hernandez, I mean. The guy you slapped around on Piper's Pit.
Oh, Frankie Williams.
Frankie Williams, I'm sorry. Now I can hear the fans already. I was singing Aaron Hernandez.
Gotcha. He's the only Puerto Rican gentleman I've ever seen with freckles.
Right.
Where are you from? I'm from Columbus, Ohio. We're on a roll, baby. I loved him.
I apologize to your fans. I know the hate tweets are already starting with, who the hell is Frankie Hernandez? He's Aaron Hernandez's brother.
There you go. We'll be right back. Loving you.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, coming in at 233 pounds, WWE icon, WCW icon, Roddy Piper.
I love you. And now I haven't said baby Jesus or holy cow this whole show. What we're going to start to do every time I say baby Jesus, I'm going to have to owe some Twitter fan $20.
Or a free t-shirt, so I know you won't say it again.
Holy cow. I'm finished.
Hey, speaking of free t-shirts, if you go on eBay, Roddy Piper is the number one searched WWE, WCW wrestler for merchandise. But you know what? There's a lot of bootleggers on eBay. Mr. Piper doesn't get $1 out of that. So you guys need to go to www.rowdyroddypiper.com where the merchandise is, as the kids say, off the chains. You get They Live masks. Everyone loves that movie. It's a cult classic. John Carpenter, Escape from New York. That's the real deal. Get the mask. It's autographed. You'll love it. You can sell it on eBay for double the price in a year. Piper still won't get the money, but don't worry about that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Signature line T-shirts. What would Roddy Piper do? Villain T-shirts. Hot Rod shirts. Only with his signature are they legit, real, and custom made to fit. Please go to www.rowdyroddypiper.com. I think they also have maybe some coffee cups and stuff if you want to drink your protein drinks so you can look like Piper. And I think in the future they will have 2 autographed signed coconuts by Jimmy Snuka and Piper. RowdyRoddyPiper.com.
Ow. Help
this man put his kids through college. He's a legend. You all say you love him. You all say you support him. Well, prove it. As certain wrestlers would say, don't sing it, bring it. Don't lie it, buy it.
I love you. I love you. My daughter is in her second year of college, and she wants to be a doctor, hopefully a psychiatrist, to help her dad out.
Well, that's,
Thank you.
No, I mean, people say they're fans and they love you. And Mr. Piper has never asked me to promote his website or his T-shirts. When I came here today, the first thing he said was, "Earl, what do you want me to plug?" And I said, "Hey, what are we, Buff Bagwell and Warrior in Atlanta? I don't even have anything to plug."
Buff Bagwell, it's Inappropriate Earl, your podcast on iTunes, right?
iTunes and SoundCloud. And,
and I just did it with you. It's great.
Your episode is the first week most downloads in the history of the show, and I've done 60 plus episodes, and
cool. I'll be there anytime, like you are for me.
Well,
you're great.
You're a legend, and like I said, that word is often overused. And this guy's a legend, that girl's a legend, but you are like I said last week, even people who don't follow wrestling, even people who don't like wrestling, know your name. And that's why I was always a fan of Kiss. Even people who can't stand Kiss, the music group, can say Gene, Paul, Ace, and Peter. Even if you don't like, you know nothing about the band, you can't name one song, you can name their names. And that to me is a legend.
Thank you very much. I did 2 movies with Kiss, Gene Simmons' wife.
Shannon Tweed,
who was also born in Saskatoon. So this was in Toronto, and I was playing a serial killer. And so we had this scene where I'm supposed to come up and, I get her by the throat and choke her. I'm trying to kill her. And Shannon says to me, just right before the take, she says, hey, listen, would you, it helps me out if you really kind of choke me a little bit. Can you choke me? Yes, ma'am. I can choke you. So, boom, we start, and I lock in. And I don't know, 20 seconds, whatever. She just, boom, bats her hand. She looks at me and says, you've done that before. Like, yeah, I'm a wrestler. I'm Roddy Piper. But I think that she meant sexually. That was the innuendo to me.
Well,
but she's a lovely lady. And I think I scared her, and I didn't mean to. I might have latched on just a little too much. I'm not really sure.
Well, it's like if you ask OJ to cut your steak for you, you'll know that he's done that before. Real clean cuts.
Okay, so I'm doing a movie with Tawny Katane, who, that's a whole other topic. We did not get along. The only lady that I threw out of my dressing room. And so we're in this car, and it's during the OJ trial. And Tawny Katane is in the front seat like she's talking to OJ Simpson. And she says, yeah, I got Roddy Piper. She says, you want to talk to him? I'm going like, she's so full of shit. I says, yeah, you want to talk to him? Sure. Give me the phone. It was OJ. Really? Take the damn phone back. Let's ride in separate cars.
You're lucky he liked you.
Well, long distance, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. OJ's a good football player, but I don't think he's into ankle locks.
Well, hell of a football player. Yeah. Great double murderer, too.
And then get arrested in Vegas trying to get his own Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame rings, what would you do if they took everything away from you and you went into Vegas and in the pawn shop was what would I do if my Hall of Fame ring was in a pawn shop?
I see OJ's point.
Kinda. And then they put him away for good.
Well, I guess you could say that's the ultimate karma, but
yeah, they wouldn't. He was not guilty, but they wouldn't let him come on golf courses. They would have, Well,
that's the thing. For a guy who played as much golf as he did, he sucked.
Are you a golfer?
I used to be. I grew up. I was very lucky enough, to play golf every day as a kid at Bel Air Country Club. Which was just that was my social life as a kid. It was just
yeah.
An amazing upbringing. And then long story short, my parents moved to Florida, so I had to. I joined this country club called Mountain Gate, where they let country clubs to me are like the last bastion of racism on earth. If you've ever belonged to a country club, very few minorities are allowed. It's
really?
Still. And so why I joined Mountain Gate was because they let minorities there. It was great. It was like, wow, this place is like awesome.
Yeah.
First day, my clubs get stolen. I've never played golf since.
Okay. All right, golf ones. Tell me if have I told my golf story to you with Bobby Orton Ace?
No.
All right. Let me get it in. Okay, so we're, I don't know, kind of New Yorkish. And Ace, Ace is a great golfer. I'm a great caddy. That's about it. So, okay, I'll come play golf. And I rented the golf clubs, right? And here we are. And I took my shirt off so I could get some sun. And it's this really elite golf course. And you're not supposed to take your shirt off. I don't know that. So, whack, I hit the ball. And it goes, whoom, to the right. Whoom, to the left. I'm in everybody else's green trying to get the damn ball in the thing. So finally, about the 9th tee, I'm holding up and there's like 2 carts of businessmen that come up. And I can tell by their attitude that they're betting high or they're not enjoying me at all. And so I put the ball up and whack, I hit that ball. It was perfect, right down, I mean, a long ways, whatever that means in golf. And I was proud, right? And I come back and I spike my club into my bag and I get into the cart and I grab the scorecard, and there's 4 names on here. It was their cart.
Oh, really?
And I spiked my club into one of their bags now. And Bobby Orton, he was back about 8 feet just going, and I'm going, excuse me, buddy, come here. Is this your bag? Do you know which club is mine? And we let him play through.
Did he play golf with the cast on, or was that?
I got in so many arguments with him. You get that cast, I just, get the damn cast on. I don't like that. Put the damn cast on. Tape it up.
Right.
And he played golf great with the cast on or off. This day he had it off. The arm was feeling better. It was on the mend.
Yeah.
But it wasn't totally healed.
Well, yeah, it was a legit broken arm. Right?
Well, allegedly.
Yeah, of course. That's,
We had so much fun.
Well,
so many riots.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But, we were talking earlier about, we always joke around about, Kamala not being from Uganda, Kane and the Undertaker not being brothers.
Yeah.
But the Iron Sheik, he was legitimately from Tehran, right?
Yes. He was, holy cow. Okay. Excuse me, God. How many minutes have I got left? Can I tell this? Good. Okay, I'm telling it. I'll tell you a story about the Iron Sheik. The Iron Sheik was a bodyguard for the Shah of Iran. And he took me to, after the Shah fled and they all fled, he took me to one of the generals' houses. And it was in the South, Carolinas. And they all got 7-Elevens. You come into the house and it's like a whole other deal. But let me pick it up. So, René Goulet, do you remember René Goulet? Okay, he loved. Never mind. René Goulet's driving. Nikolai Volkov is in the passenger side. Okay, the Iron Sheik is behind the driver. I'm behind Nikolai Volkov. All right. So we come to the United States border. I'm the only one illegal. Now, allegedly, there was a 1/4 ounce of hash in my pocket. So we come up to the border, and allegedly, the hash went into my lip, because the South, I guess. The guy comes up, René Goulet rolls down the window. The guy, customs guy, right? Says, where are you headed? We're headed to wherever it was. He said, where were you born? I was born in Quebec. Well, do you have your working papers? Working papers? I do not need working papers. I want my... All right. The next guy. This is when they had the 444 hostages. Okay?
Right.
Next guy, Nikolai Volkov. And where are you from? I'm from Mother Russia. Okay. Do you have working papers? I don't have working papers with me. Guy looks back and he sees the Sheik. He goes, where are you from? I am the Iron Sheik from Tehran, Iran. I'm world champion. You have papers? I don't need papers. I'm world champion. Everybody out of the car. Didn't even get to me. He goes to the trunk. And he opens the trunk. There's just wrestling bags. There's nothing in there. And the guy, the customs guy, starts to walk away. And Nikolai, as he's slamming the trunk, says, what is this, the Gestapo? This guy did a 180. Boom. Next thing I know, we're in a white room of concrete, no potty, no nothing, no place to stash nothing, allegedly in the lip. And these guys are hot. And I guess they're calling Washington to see, who's what, where, when. I'm in there now about 45 minutes with these guys. I'm the only one illegal. And finally they bring us out, everything's dissipating in the mouth. Come on. And they put us in a line. And the head guy now is there. And he points to the Sheik, you know, and then Sheik's a world champion, I give you 8x10 picture. You know, not Ivan Koloff, what was the other one?
Nikolai
Volkov, you know, and you. And then all of a sudden they see me. And he goes, where are you from? I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. Where'd you go to school? St. Mary's. He said, that's the only one I believe. You get out. I got out. They got out. The Sheik had a half an ounce of pot, and he put it in the back seat between me and him with a newspaper over it under the impression that if nobody claimed it, nobody would have anything done, you know?
Right.
Yeah. And one more Sheik story. There's a guy named Nord. Nah, I'm going to leave that one out. So in any case, we got over the border, and I'll just say this. The Sheik put a substance in somebody else's bag. They went over the border, then the Sheik comes and gets it back.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. You know, we were riding hard back there then. They say that we're crazy, or, you know, they don't know what we went through every day. They don't know. They don't. Vince doesn't get it. It doesn't matter. It's not a.
Well, it does matter though, because
you know,
it's.
Yeah. You know, I'm just sharing it. Just sharing it. You know, I share with my fans. Sometimes I get too honest.
Well, listen, I know you have to go talk to the great Nikki Sixx. I certainly wouldn't want you to miss out on that opportunity. I thought it'd be a cool thing. You know, the most popular part of our podcast last week was when I just gave you a couple names to say one word about. I'd like to do that again with some names I didn't mention.
All right.
So just, one word, one sentence. They're going to be very random.
Okay.
Name number one, Abdullah the Butcher.
Lazy, draws a lot of money.
Great tits, though.
Great tits.
Side, back, and front. Ted DiBiase.
Hell of a man. He's the only one I believe that's a real minister.
S.D. Jones.
Great guy. Solid.
The great nature boy, Ric Flair.
I love him.
Adrian Adonis.
Whoa, my brother.
Jesse Ventura.
Oh, my other brother. Love him.
Hulk Hogan.
He's not my brother.
Brother?
No, but I'm glad he's doing well.
Well, after that sex tape, I'm not sure who is. Oh, God. Sergeant Slaughter.
He's one of only 2 wrestlers I've ever allowed in my home. My kids call him Uncle Bob.
Big John Studd.
Was a gentle man, a wonderful man. Andre hated him and beat the shit out of him.
The aforementioned many times when you and I are in a room, Kamala.
Oh, sweet man, taken advantage of.
Gordon Soley.
The original best play-by-play guy was the father of it.
Well, I think that's a good name to end on.
Cool. I loved all those. Was I supposed to say something bad about him?
Oh, okay. You want to Dr. D. David Schultz.
Bully, piece of shit.
That's what fans want to hear.
Honky tonk man, an asshole. Tried to buy my name. Wayne Ferris tried to buy Roddy Piper. But I told him he's an asshole. He knows it. I'm not hiding it.
Well, that's an even better way to end the. I mean, I don't know if we're ending the podcast. It's your podcast. I'm like, this is like a WCW takeover.
I'm with you, and I love you. And Inappropriate Earl is your podcast. And we should play a little bit. I'll come over to your podcast anytime. I really appreciate you coming over. And you know what? The fans like it.
The fans are actually really cool, and
they're great. I got the greatest fans, man.
I've nothing to plug. I mean,
you got you and Earl. If you don't at the Comedy Store on Sunset Boulevard, any chance you get a chance to see Earl Skakel, you need to go there and check him out because he's always there. I realized I was going to the Comedy Store too much when the whole store had closed down, and Don Barris, I think you were there also, and Tony, and everybody's playing baseball at 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, wiffle ball.
Wiffle ball. Yeah, I'm not learning a lot right now. I think I'm going to go.
Well, no, just if you want to know how to make it in the world of stand-up comedy, just do what we do the opposite of what we were doing in that parking lot, and you'll be a star.
Love you with all my heart. We got to go. Inappropriate Earl podcast, Comedy Store, Twitter, R_Roddy_Piper. I love you with all my heart. We'll be back next week with all kinds of other stuff. This weekend, I'm coming to Houston. I was with Fritz von Erich, and I was 16 in Dallas. And Houston was the best town because Paul Bosch was the best. He put Audie Murphy into the movies. He was the best payoff man. And my job for Fritz was to take the fire marshal's daughter out so he could squeeze more people than the fire marshal allowed. And Houston was the best payday. If you didn't, you work Houston. And the last thing that I learned in Houston, Johnny Valentine coming through the door. He had he was a main eventer. I'm just a little kid, 15, 16. I must have been 16. And he grabs me by the throat and slams me just out of nowhere and slams me against the locker. And this is what he said to me. I can't make you believe wrestling's for real, but I sure the fuck can make you believe I am. Based half my career on it. I'll be in Houston to show you. Bye-bye.